So hi guys, today I'm going to be taking a look at some Battlefield 2042 news that's come out quite recently, and yeah, let's get right into it. Starting us off here, I am on the 2042 website by the way, so this is all like confirmed. This is from DICE and EA themselves. So yeah, starting us off, we have some bits on specialists. This is your specialist sort of customizables. You have a primary weapon, which is non-class specific now, an equipment, a secondary weapon, and a throwable. So yeah, and this is like a loadout you can expect to see. An assault rifle is your primary, an ammo box, equipment, sidearm, grenade, and these are the interesting bits, the specialty and the trait. So for your wingsuit guy, you will have a wingsuit here. For Webster McKay, you have the grappling hook. For this trait, now I'm not really sure what this trait means at all. We've not really had any confirmations on traits. Nimble for Webster McKay, is this something that's shipped with Webster McKay, or do you actually have to apply this? Like in Battlefield 4 you have the offensive defensive field perks. Does this work the same way? I don't really know. Yeah, leading on from that, you can see that you can have your equipment slot, right? So why doesn't everybody just run with an RPG, a SMOR, a bazooka and destroy everything? Well, this is where they have balanced this. So it says blah blah blah, little rubbish. If you have an approach for your explosive equipment slot, you can't carry a medical crate or supply crate, thus leaves you without health or ammo replenishing options. So this here is basically the exact same as, say, engineer or recon from Battlefield 4. As an engineer, you cannot, whatever equipment you use, you cannot have a health kit or an ammo bag. So for this, if you choose a RPG, there you go, you forfeit the health and ammo benefits of other classes. I think that's quite well balanced, and I think that's a good job on that. So this next little piece of information is about the robot dog, Ranger. People have been asking if he's a trait or a specialty for your specialists. So, is he a unique dog, or do you have to run a specific specialist to get him? And the answer is no. Everybody has the opportunity to call him in using the call-in system. But whenever you make the choice, you're choosing Ranger over other options available within the call-in system. And if you remember back to the reveal trailer, there was tanks and all that in the call-in system, so Ranger is directly competing with tanks and stuff for you to call in. Now this makes me think, is Ranger as good as a tank? Is that what they're trying to say? Or will the call-in system have like points, where in Call of Duty you need X kills to get a streak, or in Battlefield you need X points to access a call-in? So if you were to call in Ranger, you would need 1,000 points, let's say. And if you were to call a tank, you need 2,000 points. So if you were to call in Ranger, you would spend that 1,000 points, and then you would lose your saving up for the tank. So you would have to deal with a less powerful support, if you know what I mean. That's my really bad explanation, but that's what I think we're looking at with this call-in system. Now there's a little piece on maps. We can expect 7 new maps on launch. We already know this. Biggest and boldest maps ever built. Yeah, we've heard that before. So how does clustering and sectors optimize gameplay in Conquest? This is the interesting bit. So they've introduced clustering and sectors. So clustering is where they create deliberate areas of activity and capture areas for players to engage with. So that's, to me, sounds like a Conquest flag, or like a bunch of them in one spot to make like a Operation Locker type infantry zone, if you know what I mean. We've also added sectors, which changes how players gain control of an area. In order to successfully capture the sector, must seem to control all flags within a sector. So say if you have 4 flags in your sector, you need every single one of them. You can't have one on the other team, you need all of them to capture it. And I think that is going to slow down the game quite significantly, because think how many flags there are going to be. A lot. And how many flags are in one sector? I don't know, probably 3-4 is a good guess, I reckon. And you need all 4 of them. None of them can even be neutral to bleed any tickets from the enemy team. So yeah, it's they're really putting a huge emphasis on playing the objective here. And if the objective is not played, the games are going to take hours and hours and hours, I reckon. Unless they have a timer on them, which they probably will. Got some more miscellaneous map information down here. 64 player and 128 player experiences. If you're interested in that, pause it now and read it. I'm on PC, so I don't really care, to be honest, not to sound like an idiot. But yeah, can you fight on every floor of skyscrapers? I never saw this as a possibility anyway. The way they go straight up in the elevator in the reveal trailer to the roof says to me, no, and here you go, they confirm it here, no. And their reasoning is that it would be an entire map of fighting on its own, which is fair enough. The surface area of the floors of a skyscraper would be gigantic. Apparently they've made some changes to out of bounds, they've made the bounds bigger. Well, they would do because the maps are bigger. And interestingly here, they say that, sorry I'm saying a lot, but yeah, that they're introducing maps throughout the live service. See, the addition of further maps through live service. So yeah, that's really interesting. Onto vehicles now. They're more focused, squad focused than ever before. We've heard all that. How does the vehicles calling system work? This is really interesting. It's map dependent and will have a specific budget. So maybe this ties in with how I said the robot dog work. Oh, there's a picture of it there. Maybe you only have X amount of points and you can only buy, say, you can only buy a robot dog with your points. You can't afford a tank or something like that. You can't use air vehicles through the deploy system, which is fair enough because they get airdropped anyway, and that'd be weird for Chopper. And once you've called in a vehicle, you will get a cooldown, so everybody else can call it in. This is really interesting because in games like Battlefield 4, you can chain the attack curve, you know, you fly, die, sit there in the spawn screen, wait for it to redeploy, and nobody else can get in it because you just keep spamming to get in. This looks like it's a move in the right direction with the support call-in, and I like that. Do factions have their own vehicles? Yep, they've confirmed that, you know, Russia has a Russian tank, US has a US tank, and really unfortunately there will be no sea warfare at release, which is a massive letdown for me. Battlefield 4 I totally enjoyed RCBs and naval combat in general. It's actually really fun, so yeah, DICE has dropped the ball there, but whatever. We'll see. They talk about adding it in live service, so keep your fingers crossed. I mean, they have done Naval Strike DLC for Battlefield 4, so I'm thinking something similar to Battlefield 2042, but there's going to be 7 maps at least without any boats in them, which is disappointing. But yeah, moving on. Onto AI. So there are 3 experiences they're saying with AI multiplayer, where they're just used to fill servers, as you can see here. Co-op, Battlefield 3 co-op type stuff possibly, where you play with your friend against AI soldiers. I can't wait to do this. This sounds amazing. This also gives me massive hope. If they've got co-op in it as well, I think this is so feature rich. They're just flexing all these features like co-op. And solo sounds like a what do you call it, test range type experience where you actually get to have bots to practice on, which is, you know, yes please. We've been waiting for that for a long time. How do AI, that's nothing new, we've all seen that. Can we completely, no, we've seen this as well. You cannot opt out of using AI soldiers. It's part of the game, you have to deal with it. Bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but then again, I think it's more beneficial in the long run to have AI soldiers in the game for the longevity of it. So yeah. Moving on, technical playtest, blah blah blah. There's some interesting bits about crossplay down here. Old gen consoles, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Weird to be saying that, I feel like, because it feels like even yesterday that those consoles came out, but whatever. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 can play together, but they can't play with the rest because of their limitations. They get 64 player maps, game mode, sorry, and all that. So yeah, whereas PC and Xbox S, whatever, gets 128. This is a huge deal here. EA finally bends the knee, cross progression and cross commerce. So this means, if you don't know, if I was to buy a skin on one account, I could access my transfer my account to another platform, say PC to PlayStation, and I would still have access to that skin. Along with the skin, I would also have all of the guns I've unlocked, XP, level, everything like that. It's just a massive quality of life addition, and it's about time that we have this. With this as well, I will reckon that we'll need a that if you're playing on Xbox and PlayStation, you're going to need to make an EA account and stuff like that to access this, which is a bit annoying, but it was probably worth it in the long run to get this. But yeah, that pretty much. Let's talk about penguins and stuff down here. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to read it in full, but yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for what I would like to talk about. Subscribe if you like the video, and I'll see you next time.